everybody, welcome back to another city talkie video. I guess technically all my videos are city and talkie videos, but this one is going to be kind of like the partner video to the video that went up yesterday. Can I say video one more time? Video. That went up yesterday talking about the change in the rules for VGC 2020 that will go live March 1st. Oh, hey, buddy. Sorry, I have my dog right here, and I'm just giving him some treats because he was being extra cute, and he just has this really cute face. Like, sometimes he just looks up at you, and he's got these, like, little beady eyes, and he's just a very nice old man. He's 13. He is absolutely 13. So, when I recorded yesterday's episode, oh my god, I can't even speak. When I recorded yesterday's video, I maybe recorded it at 3 or something like that. And I said several times in it, it has not been confirmed what Gmax Pokemon are going to be legal. So I recorded it and I had it set up to go live at 9 a.m. the next day. Because that's usually when I have my 9 a.m. like EST. That's usually when I have my videos go live. So I'm like, why deviate? Mistakes. Because shout out to Games with Devon, because maybe at like 8 last night, he sent me the list of the confirmed Gmax Pokemon that are going to be legal, and I'm like, I can't believe I just did that. So I guess it's pretty good, because that video was a half hour. This video is probably going to be 20 minutes or so. So I guess it's in some ways good I broke it up, because no one wants to hear me speak for an hour straight. It's probably good that's broken up into 2 videos. Hey, little man. There you go, little man. I'm really sorry, y'all. Maybe I'll cut out me talking to my dog, because that is exactly how I speak to him. But I'm going to go over all the Gmax Pokemon that are going to be legal starting, voice crack, starting March 1st, and my understanding is the other Gmax Pokemon are also going to remain, legal, and these are going to be added, but I don't know if I'm correct, so if I'm incorrect, please feel free to let me know in the comments section down below. And first, we're going to start out with Alcremie. So Alcremie, it gets Decorate, and I think Decorate is its greatest move, at least before it Gmaxes. So Decorate does increase the target's attack and special attack stat, so that means you can decorate the partner Pokemon and essentially just instantly boost it. So that's pretty cool. And then for its Dynamax, sorry, I'm going to say Dynamax way more than I mean to. For its Gmax, it is going to have that Gmax finale. Let me make it so, there we go. Sorry, I have my other screen over there. I'm all discombobulated. So Gmax finale is a fairy type attack, and it heals the HP of its allies. I think as far as effects go, that one, I want to say it's, like, I could be super wrong on this. I want to say it's mediocre at best. Because here's the thing about Gmax. So with Gmax special moves like that, you are losing the effect of the normal Gmax type move, so you will not be setting terrain, meaning, so instead of setting, Misty Terrain, which you would do with a fairy type Gmax move. Instead, you'll be healing your allies' HP. So that means you can still be statused, and as you will see when I go through this list, I think status is going to be pretty huge. So I definitely think that there's a place for Alcremie in the meta. Alcremie. I'm going to switch it off, and I'm sure people hate that. But I think that there is a place for it in the meta. However, I do think it's a more niche mon, and I don't think it's going to be a mon that everyone's like, oh my god, I need this on my team. So next up, we do have that Flapple. I have to say, I adore the design of Flapple. Like, apples are one of my absolute favorite foods, and so then we get an apple dragon. Too bad it's grass and dragon. That's not the best typing, especially defensively. I think it's a pretty terrible typing. Got that 4 times weakness to ice, all that kind of stuff. Fairy, bug, and dragon, so I think it's a little tough. Flying, poison, sorry, now I'm just going down the line. It's like, that's That's tough. It does get Hustle, though. So as we've seen with Durant and Dracozolt, Hustle is a great ability because it means physical type attacks are going to be increased by 50%, but they are only going to be 80% accurate. However, if we go down and we see its Gmax move, like Tartness, that's what it is. Let me see, make sure you guys can see it. There it is. So Gmax Tartness, this is a grass type attack. This move reduces the opponent's evasiveness. So here's the thing. So you can run it physical or special. It's 130 physical, 140 special, as you can see right there. Here's the thing. So you can max, you have Hustle. You can max and you can decrease their evasion so that when you are not maxed anymore, you still have Hustle, but you don't have to worry about hitting your moves because their evasion has been decreased. You can also run this with Hypnosis or anything. Like, you can run it with anything that doesn't have perfect accuracy. And I really want this to be usable. Like, its stats... Its attack, it has good attack, terrible SPDEF, like absolutely terrible, not good bulk, pretty good attack. Its speed is 70. I think that hurts it. I mean, it does get, so you do get a nice chunk of coverage moves. You can get max ooze if you want to run special. You get max flutterby, which is also very cool, meaning you get to lower the opponent's special attack. You get both max Wormwind to lower their attack, and you get max airstream. So I think that's another huge one, is the max airstream, and you also get max steel spike. So you can kind of buff yourself in that way. But your speed is still 70. Like, I think with the proper... I think this Pokemon can be very fun. Oh, I just have one no treaty left for my good boy. Should have brought more treaties in for you. Don't tell Charlie, but it's actually just his kibble, because he begs all the time, and because he's 13, I'm like, I will give you whatever you want, but I can't give him too many treats because he already has gained so much weight. So it's just his kibble, but don't tell him that. So, I do think... I do think there's also a place for Flapple in the meta. I do think all of its weaknesses are super tough. Oh my gosh, I think it's super tough. And I think its speed being 70 and its SPDEF being 60, like, that's not great, but I would definitely love to see this Pokemon work. Absolutely. So I have all the tabs already pulled up. I guess we could just jump to Appleton, or I can go in order of how I have them. Guess I'll jump to Appleton. So we do have Appleton as well. So this is like Flapple's partner Pokemon. It does get Gluttony, which is pretty good with the berries, and it also has Thick Fat. So I think Thick Fat really helps against a lot of those weaknesses. Like, really, really helps against a lot of those weaknesses. And so its move is going to be Gmax Sweetness, like the opposite of Tart. This again is a grass type move. This move heals the status conditions of allies. So I think this one can be really good, especially because there's a lot of status running around. I think there's going to be a ton of status running around. So again, like, I think these first mons we've covered are more niche. I think you can definitely build around them, and I think you can definitely make them work, but I don't think that they are the strongest right now. Not just right now. I don't think that they're the strongest. However, much like Flapple, Appleton does get really nice coverage for those max moves. So you can even have max Knuckle to increase your attack, max Rockfall, max Quake, max Steel Spike, all that kind of stuff. That helps with your staying power, especially if you build this thing super bulky. I have been stalled out by just normal Appleton before, and it is infuriating. So I think with Thick Fat, and, being able to heal up and everything like that, you can buff yourself more with the max Steel Spike and the max ground, I think is pretty useful. I really, really do think that's pretty useful. Its speed is 30, so maybe you want it on Trick Room team, but SPDEF is 80, defense is 80, HP 110. Those are really, really totally fine attacks. Like, it honestly has very good defensive stats right here. Again, the defensive typing leaves something to be desired. However, with that thick fat, you can mitigate it at least slightly. You can definitely mitigate it at least slightly. So let's go back to Kingler. So I don't know how I didn't know this, but Kingler Shiny is a putrid green color. Legit did not know that. Legit did not know that its shiny was that putrid green. So it gets Sheer Force. That's the first thing I see. So moves with a secondary effect are increased by 30% and lose their secondary effect. That's powerful. Sheer Force, Life Orb, damage. Actual damage. Okay, Shell Armor, you can't crit this Pokemon. I mean, I guess with Crit Kiss, sure. But Hyper Cutter is opponent cannot lower this Pokemon's attack. This Pokemon may still lower its own attack. Okay, so that's only for attack, but it still can't be intimidated or anything like that. Or charmed, question mark? I guess it can't be charmed either, which is kind of cool, but again, I'm more looking at that Sheer Force. Like, Sheer Force, Life Orb, I think is pretty cool, and so it gets, it's like a move that you can run off Crab Hammer. Gmax Foam Burst. That sounds dope, but this is a water type attack, and this move harshly lowers the speed of the opponents. So, with a speed of 75, honestly, in the Galar, like in VGC 2020, a lot of Pokemon have middling speed. So once you decrease your opponent's speed drastically, Kingler's actually going to be outspeeding a fair amount. And look at that attack stat, 130. 130 Sheer Force, Life Orb, damage, as I said, as long as you can keep it safe, because if you look at it defensively, terrible stats. We got 55 HP, bet. We got 50 special defense, bet. And 115 defense. So, you know, if you can protect it correctly, I do think, again, I've been using the word niche a lot, but I think a lot of these so far are more niche picks, because I do think Gmax Kingler can totally work, and I look forward to seeing it work, in fact. It also gets pretty good coverage, because you can also max Knuckle. If you want to be super powerful, you can max Knuckle, you can max Quake, to increase your Spadef. You can also max Flutterby to decrease your opponent's special attack. That's another way to protect yourself on that special side. As we said, 50 Spadef. Bleh, not good. So, I think that's pretty much what I wanted to say for Kingler. It would appear that it does also get Knockoff, and Knockoff has been taken from a lot of Pokemon this generation, and so having the ability to knock off an opponent's item, very, very good. I think that's very, very good. It also gets Ally Switch. Oh, Lord. Yeah, so I think that's what I wanted to say about Kingler. I do think its design, sorry, can I just take 1 second? Look at that. I do think its design is just the creepiest, but also most stunning thing. It's just absolutely stunning. I can't get over it. Okay, so speaking of sick designs, we're going to talk about Toxicity next. I think Toxicity's design is so cool. I mean, there are pieces I like more than others. It's like weird guitar body I don't like. However, its mohawk is so cool. Like, it's wearing studded bracelets and a studded belt. Yes, I did that at one point too. It's awesome. Like, I love that. I love it. I love how its mohawk is like, it like moves. It has movement. But that's not why we're here. I apologize. That is not why we're here. So, we do have Toxicity. So it does get Punk Rock, which increases the damage of sound-based moves by 30% and reduces the damage taken by this Pokemon by sound-type moves by 50%. So that's pretty cool. I think that Punk Rock's cool. Technician moves with a base power of 60 or less are boosted by 50%. I don't think that's as, what's the word I want, as important as necessary. As the Punk Rock. So I do think its design also is very, very cool. And so we have Gmax Stun Shock. And if you haven't seen the animation for this move, prepare yourself because it's awesome. So this is an electric type moves, and it either is going to leave the opponents with poisons or paralysis. And actually, I think there's a chance, so I think that it has a chance to affect both the opponent's Pokemon, if I'm not mistaken. There's a chance it affects both opponents' Pokemon. However, you cannot choose. You may paralyze it, you may poison it. You may nothing it. So, I think the idea of paralysis is super, super good. Paralysis in itself is good, especially because Toxicity, again, we're going to see that base speed of like 75. That's not good. That's not a good base speed. So, and again, defensively, it's really fairly lackluster, to be honest with you, because we got 70, 70, and 75, respectively, for SPDEF, defense, and HP. Like, all those are very lackluster, I think. But, so if you can paralyze your opponents, boom, you're good. And if you poison, that's also pretty good. You know, there's nothing bad about being able to get passive damage every single turn. I think that that's also good. However, the drawback not only is Toxicity's very middling speed at best, but it's also that you can't choose. You don't know what you're going to be getting. So I think that that can be a little bit tough. However, from doing Toxicity raids, I do know you can paralyze ground-type Pokemon, and I think that is a very, very cool little effect of Gmax Stun Shock. So that is a guaranteed way to slow down well, it's not guaranteed. If you get the paralysis off, then you get to slow down Toxicity is not a ground-type Pokemon. You get to slow down ground-type Pokemon, and there's also the possibility that it will not move, which is why paralysis is so good. And you're going to see it's going to be a little bit more powerful on that special side. It's going to be 140, and if it's physical, it's 130. So they're both extremely powerful, but on that special side, it is a little bit more powerful. So we already did Appleton up here. Let's move on to Grimmsnarl. So, I'm honestly worried about Grimmsnarl. Prankster Grimmsnarl itself is very, very good. I have used it, and I think it's very good. It has an insane move pool. Absolutely insane move pool. Its typing is honestly pretty good, too, because it can't be Prankster because it's Dark type. So it can't be taunted by other Grimmsnarls. It can't be taunted by anything that has Prankster. It can't be Fake Tearsed. It can't be charmed by anything that has Prankster, Encored, anything like that. So because it's Dark type, it is immune to that Prankster, and I think that gives this specific Prankstermon a leg up on other Prankstermons. In addition, it just has such a good move pool. And, you know, you don't really know how it's going to be run. We even saw, I think, James Beak is using the team right now, and I think it got number 1 on the ladder, and it was Life Orb offensive Grimmsnarl. So that's very, very rare, but you can do it. Like, you just don't know what Grimmsnarl is going to be running. Is it going to have Fake Out? Is it going to have an attacking type move? Is it going to be dual screen? Can it Fake Tears you? Can it paralyze you? Like, oh my gosh, it can do so much. It can do so much. And so it gets Gmax Snooze. It's a base 130 attack. That is very high. It's a dark type move, and the user lets loose a huge yawn that can you see it? Yeah, you can. That lulls the target into falling asleep on the next turn. So it's essentially a yawn. It's essentially a yawn that does damage. What I don't know is does this automatically affect both your opponent's Pokemon? Because it seems so good. It just seems so good if it does affect both your opponent's Pokemon. I mean, I think automatically in this meta, you need to have a way around that sleep because we do have things. Venusaur's going to be coming in. That's one thing. But even before that, you have Butterfree, even Vileplume, something like that, Gravity Hypnosis type stuff. So you really should have an answer to sleep. But I do think Gmax Grimmsnarl is an even bigger reason to have that answer. Because you really need to have that answer to sleep, especially if it affects both your opponent's Pokemon. Because that is a damage-dealing yawn on both your opponent's Pokemon. That seems so good. And even if it's just on one, it's still a damage-dealing yawn. That is so good in Dynamax Age because so you max Snooze. They get off. They'll get off 2 Dynamax attacks. You can max guard for one of those, and then they get 1 Dynamax turn in that case. Because you max snooze it, it gets drowsy, then you max protect, you max guard, so that it attacks into nothing, essentially, and then it goes to sleep. Boom. Dynamax over. So, like, I think that's very good, and everyone needs to have a way around sleep. Everyone needs to have a way around sleep. And I do think that the max snooze is also good because you can run, you know, as I said, we don't see offensive, it exists, but we don't see offensive Grimmsnarl all that much. So I think having the Gmax on your team, it lets you run it 2 ways, if that makes sense. So you can use just the Prankster Mon, you know, you can set up your screens, you can paralysis, you can do all that, or you can also Gmax if you do want to do that as well. Okay, Lapras, only a couple more to go. Sorry, I'm gonna drink some water. So, I think Lapras is going to be good. I do think Lapras is going to be good, so it can have water absorb. I think this is a pretty good ability for it. I also think, like, Gmax Lapras also looks so cool. Look at it. It looks awesome. And I really want... I would love a shiny. I super don't have a shiny, but I would love a shiny. So, I think Lapras is going to be especially good in Trick Room looking at its stats, but I don't think it needs it because 95 SPDEF, 80 defense, 130 HP, and then when you Gmax, your HP it goes through the roof! It goes absolutely through the roof! So I think that's very awesome. And not to mention, I just want to make sure so you guys can see it. So we have Gmax Resonance. I think that's super cool. It makes me think of Soul Eater a little bit. I don't know if anyone's seen that anime, but I haven't thought about Soul Eater in a long time. But that's beside the point. So this is an Ice-type attack. And this move essentially is going to set up Aurora Veil for 5 turns. And if you're running special, it has 140 base power. I just spit a little bit. That's how crazy it is. Like, I think this Mon is going to be so good. So good. As I was saying with Grimmsnarl, you can set up it takes you 2 turns and you can set up screens. Lapras gets to do damage and set up screens in 1 turn. Like, I think of the Mons I'm looking at, I do think Lapras is the least niche I've looked at so far. I think it's going to be so good. I personally, you can run Light Clay on it. That means, I'm gonna get this wrong. Okay, so if it's around for 5 turns, Light Clay I believe means it's around for 8 turns. 8 turns. I could have Antlers 8 turns. So I do believe that means it's around for 8 turns. However, I kind of like the idea of weakness policy, because if I'm going to max it, then I want to also, for me personally, the way I like to play is I also want to be doing damage. So you can Gmax Resonance, but here's the thing. I mean, you can Ice type it, you can do it multiple times, but unlike the other max moves that we've seen, Gmax Resonance is really only good once. I think that's the only real drawback to it, is that it really is only good for that 1 turn, you know. With Kingler, you can keep lowering speed. With Toxicity, if they switch out, you still have the chance to paralyze or to poison. With Alcremie, you can constantly be healing. You know, with what are the other ones we looked at? With Grimmsnarl, again, if they switch out, you can just keep you keep snoozing away and everything like that. So all of them, and with Flapple, you keep decreasing their evasion. Even if they switch out, you keep decreasing their evasion. However, with the Gmax Resonance, you really only need to do that once, which is kind of why I like weakness policy, because you can then boost other, you know, you can max Hailstorm. Actually, you can't. You can only Gmax Resonance. Lies, sorry. So, you know, you can do any of these to get up more. You know, you can set up the Rain for yourself. You can max Geyser. That will be another stab move. You can max Whirlwind. Max Quake to increase your SPDEF, max Steel Spike to increase your defense, you know, all that kind of stuff. So you can go for that more. I think, however, Gmax Resonance, as good as it is, again, it's good that one time. Like, it's good to set up once. Because you can't go for it again. It exists for 5 turns. Your Gmax will far be up by then. I still think it's a very good Pokemon though, and I think it looks beautiful. I've always loved Lapras, one of my favorite Gen 1 Pokemon, and I am really looking forward to using it. Speaking of my favorite Gen 1 Pokemon, it's probably not my favorite Gen 1 Pokemon, but it's very high up there. Shoutouts to Arcanine. It's very, very high up there. So we all know how this works. The only big difference is, yes, that hidden ability is going to be available. Where are you? Solar Power. Solar Power is going to be available. Speaking of that, I need to spend the next 2 weeks, like, raiding that den, so hopefully I can actually get one. I only have one, and it is Blaze, but that's beside the point. So I will go over it real quick, but I want to say this is the one we've seen the most of. So Gmax Wildfire, I think it's very good. Gmax Wildfire, and make sure you can see it. You can see it. So this move continues to deal damage to the opponent for 4 turns. Even if they switch in, it just continues to tick the damage down. So just kind of like I was talking about with Ellescream and everything like that. So the one thing is with Gmax Wildfire, you get that extra damage, but you cannot set the sun for yourself. I probably should have said this. Same thing goes for Kingler. When you use your max move with Kingler, you're decreasing their speed. However, you are not setting the rain for yourself. That is something to be noted about the Gmax moves as well. Let's go on to Colossal. So Colossal's kind of cool. It gets Steam Engine. Also, has Shiny Colossal always been blue? Has it always been teal? I legit did not know that. Okay, I do apologize. This video is probably going to be over a half hour. Not by much, though. We only have 3 more Pokemon. So Steam Engine's a cool ability. Maxes out its speed if it's hit by a water-type move. It gets Gmax Volcalith. It's a rock-type move. This move continues to deal damage to opponents for 4 turns. Okay, so this is essentially the rock-type version of what Charizard gets. So I do think it's an interesting mon. Again, I feel like it's a little bit more niche, only because so its speed is its main problem, but that can be instantly boosted. So I think that's pretty cool. I mean, its stats are really pretty okay. It's just that it doesn't put on much offensive pressure, so maybe if you want to run something like, so you could even run, like I looked at in yesterday's video, you can even run Primarina with Aqua Jet. You can Aqua Jet yourself, you run weakness policies so that you're actually doing damage, and then you also max out your speed. So that could be a super fun strat, I think, because its Spadef is 90, that's pretty good. Defense 120, HP 110. Bulky. He pretty bulky. So then once you get your weakness policy procced, boom, you're in business and you're also doing damage. Once you go for Gmax Volcalith once, you're doing damage for 4 turns straight. In addition, you have things like Max Overgrow, which will give you passive healing. You have Max Steel Spike and oh, you don't have Max... Yeah, you do. You have Max Quake. So you have all those things that can also buff your defense and special defense as well. So I look forward to seeing... Hi, sweet boy. Hi. I ran out of treats. Yeah. You guys, I wish you could see how he looks at me. He just has these cute little beady eyes, and he's just so cute. I love him so much. Okay, so we have 2 more Pokemon left, and then Charlie and I are going to go eat a lot of treats. So you have Orbital. Orbital is a super interesting looking Pokemon. Hi, baby! Do you want to come up here? Do you want to come up and say hi to everybody? Come here. Oh, that's my good boy. Oh, wow, that's a good boy, yeah. Okay, so Orbital. Oh, you okay? So I think Frisk is pretty good, especially, I think Frisk is always good, but especially on ladder and best of 1. I think Frisk is very, very good. Oh, now he has to give me kisses in front of everybody. Oh, that's gross. People are going to think that's gross. Yes, I let my dog kiss my face. I know it's gross. I really know it's gross, but what are you going to do? So telepathy prevents damage from teammates. So that can also be pretty good. You know, you can run it next to Surf. You can run it next to, oh no, I didn't want to do that. Oh, it's okay. Okay, you want to get down? Are you finished? Are you finished? Yeah, you just gave me some kisses and now you're like, I'm good. Okay. Okay. Whoa, big jump from a little guy. We have 2 more Pokemon, Charlie. Like 1.5 at this rate with Orbital. 1.5. And then I'm going to go give you so many treats. So, I think Telepathy can be very good, especially with its Gmax move. So that Gmax move is going to be Gmax Gravitas. I love that name. The names are so good. So this is a Psychic move, and this move changes gravity for 5 turns. So it essentially gives you gravity. So 90 base speed, that ain't bad. So you probably want to run it special. It's not going to be doing a ton of damage because its special attack is only 80. Hi, sweet boy. However, with something like the telepathy, you can gravity and then you can just earthquake. You could just earthquake for days. Like, I think that's very, very cool. You can also run it with, I hate to say it, hypnosis. You run it with a hypnosis partner or anything like that. It does also get other good other max moves. Max Flutterby, you can lower your opponent's special attack. Max Phantasm, you can lower their defense stat. Max Knuckle, but I don't think that's as useful. I will say, I think Orbital is going to be is actually quite interesting, and I think you can build some super fun stuff with Orbital in the same way I think you can build some super fun stuff with Colossal. However, poor Orbital, with the cat, we got Incineroar, we have the cat back, and Orbital is Psychic Bug. It matches up so poorly with the cat. So if you do want to run Orbital, make sure you have something that can absolutely demolish, like delete, something that can absolutely delete Incineroar. Just something I would say. And Charlie, last but not least, we have Hatterene, Hat. I'm going to call them Hat. So Magic Bounce already I think is a really fairly good ability. It reflects non-attacking moves back. You know, can't be taunted, can't be poisoned, can't be paralyzed, blah, blah, blah. So, well, can't be toxic, that's what I should say. If you T-Bolt into a Hatterene and you happen to get the paralysis, yes, Hatterene stays paralyzed. I just mean it can't be statused, like solely statused. So let's see. It is going to be Gmax Smile. That's nice. Again, we have a fairy type move, and this move confuses opponents. This confusion, just like paralysis, and even just like sleep, is so good because it might even be better because not only does your opponent not move, so with paralysis and with sleep, you know, there's a chance that your opponent won't move at all. But with confusion, there's that chance they won't move at all, and there is that chance they will damage themselves. And if they're a physical type attacker, it will do even, like, if they have a high attack stat, it will do even more damage. So I do think that Gmax Smile is going to be so good. Again, Hatterene, as it's been used, I think all season, is going to be great in Trick Room. Look at that speed, it's 29, Turable. That's why it's good in Trick Room. Special attack 136. It's so good. Special attack is 136, defense is 95, special defense is 103. So its HP is 57, which is the terrible part. But it has okay bulk, really good special attack, but it's like the bulk's almost not as important when you're confusing your opponents. Also, the thing I don't know about this is this move confuses opponents. So it automatically confuses, does it confuse both? It says opponents. What does that S mean? What does that S, okay, that one I don't know. If you happen to know, please let me know in the comment section down below. I'm sitting very close to my screen, and I do apologize. So, yeah, I'm very scared of Hatterene. Like, confusion is so frustrating to play against, because like I said, maybe you won't move. Maybe you'll even damage yourself. Like, it's hard. It's definitely hard. And then, you know, Hatterene also gets pretty decent other moves that you can use. So you do have something like Max Mindstorm, so you can set the terrain. However, you can pair Hatterene with Indeedee, and then you can also be getting the buff to your Psychic type attacks with the Psychic Surge. And because you Oh, yeah, you won't be overriding it with your terrain for Gmax. Oh, it's Smite. Oh my god, it says Gmax Smite, not Gmax Smile. Oh my god. I need a new prescription. Holy cow. That's not as nice. That is not as nice. We got Gmax Smite over here. No. Oh no. So with Gmax Smite, I can't believe I made that mistake. I'm so stupid. Oh my god, I'm so stupid. I apologize. It's Gmax Smite. I think from now on I'm gonna call it Gmax Smile, though. Oh my god, I really apologize. What was I even saying? Oh yeah. With Gmax Smite, you won't be overriding the terrain. So you get to confuse your opponents, but you still get to keep your psychic terrain so that you can't be, so that Prankster, won't work, and you still get that buff to your psychic type attacks. Anyway, I think that's going to be it. Wow, I talked for 35 minutes. I'm sure I could have even said more. Like, I feel like I did a very, very surface level. So something I really want to get into more is like team builders. I don't think I've ever really done a team builder, so I want to get into team builders more and things like that. And I think that doing these kind of videos is a good step for me. I don't know if people are interested in seeing me do that, but that's just something I personally want to do because for me personally, I think team building is a place I can really improve on, and I want to try to improve on such things. Anyway, okay. Thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy, please feel free to leave a like, comment, or subscribe. Not that I think none of that. And if you enjoyed seeing Charlie, please feel free to write poodle in the comment section down below. Anyway, or if you're still with me after almost 40 minutes. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate the support on all the videos I put up. So again, thank you, and I hope everybody is having a fantastic